I woke up gasping for air, my chest heaving as though I had been running for miles. The dream was still vivid, as though I had lived it. I saw fire consuming the warehouse on Elm Street, people screaming as chaos erupted. But what haunted me most was the faces of those I knew, those I loved, caught in moments of terror before their lives were extinguished. It wasn't just the destruction that terrified me, it was the certainty of it all. Every detail felt etched into my brain, refusing to fade, even as I tried to convince myself it was just a nightmare. The morning light streaming through my window did little to comfort me. As I got ready for work at the cafe, I kept replaying the dream in my head, trying to make sense of it. "It's just a dream," I muttered under my breath, but the words felt hollow. Something about it lingered, a sickening sense of inevitability at me as I stepped out into the crisp morning air. The first sign appeared at work. Mrs. Henderson walked in wearing a red scarf, the same scarf she had worn in my dream. My hands trembled as I poured her coffee, spilling some onto the counter. My coworkers laughed and teased me for being clumsy, but I couldn't shake the dread building inside me. That scarf had been tied around her neck when she screamed during the explosion. Later that day, another detail from the nightmare surfaced: a stray dog limping across the street near Elm Street. My stomach churned as I realized these weren't coincidences. They were warnings. I couldn't keep this to myself any longer. That evening, I called Mia, my best friend since childhood. We met at the park under a flickering streetlight, and as soon as we sat down on a bench, I spilled everything: the dream, the scarf, and the dog. Mia listened quietly, her expression shifting from concern to disbelief as I recounted every horrifying detail. When I finished, she looked at me with wide eyes and said softly, "You're scaring me." I was scared too. What if it wasn't just a dream? What if it was real? Desperation drove me to Madame Celeste's doorstep that night. She was rumored to be a psychic who knew things others couldn't explain. Her home was dimly lit and smelled of incense and old books. She listened intently as I recounted my dream in painstaking detail, her expression darkening with each word. "You've seen a death echo," she said finally, her voice heavy with foreboding. "A rare vision of events that cannot be changed but only delayed." Her words sent chills down my spine. "There has to be a way to stop it." She shook her head slowly, but added cryptically, "Sometimes fate can be bent, but only at great cost." I left her house feeling more confused than ever, but resolved to try everything in my power to prevent what I had seen. Over the next few days, more moments from my dream unfolded in reality: a broken streetlight flickering ominously near Elm Street, and an argument between two neighbors that escalated into shouting. Each detail brought me closer to the day of reckoning. I became obsessed with tracking these signs and trying to intervene wherever I could, warning people about potential dangers or attempting to change their routines. But nothing seemed to alter their course. Mia grew frustrated with me during this time. She thought I was losing my grip on reality. But how could I explain what felt like an unstoppable tide pulling us toward disaster? The weight of knowing and not being able to act crushed me. The day arrived, the same date as my dream, and I stood near the warehouse on Elm Street watching every detail unfold exactly as I had foreseen. The air felt heavy with impending doom. Even Mia seemed unnerved by how eerily familiar everything was. Then it happened. The explosion rocked the ground beneath us like thunder striking from below. Flames erupted from the warehouse, consuming everything in their path as people screamed and scattered in panic. Madame Celeste's words echoed in my mind. Fate can be bent at great cost. Without thinking, I rushed into the inferno. The heat was unbearable. Smoke choked me with every breath as I stumbled through the chaos inside the warehouse. My vision blurred as I dragged people out one by one, an elderly man trapped under debris and a young woman crying for her child. When I found Mia unconscious near a collapsed beam, adrenaline surged through me like fire in my veins. I don't remember much after that, just flashes of faces and flames before everything went black. When I woke up days later in a hospital bed, Mia was sitting beside me with tears streaming down her face. Though exhausted and aching, relief washed over me when she whispered that many lives had been saved because of what I did, or maybe because of what I saw. Months later, curiosity drove me back to Madame Celeste's home to thank her for her guidance, or maybe just for listening when no one else would. She warned me again about bending fate. It leaves scars both physical and emotional, and sometimes it invites more visions. As time passed after that fateful day at Elm Street, life resumed its normal rhythm, or so it seemed on the surface. Yet deep within myself, there lingered an unease that refused to dissipate entirely. The memories of that fiery night haunted my dreams often enough to remind me of what had been lost and what had been saved. Mia tried her best to help me move forward, but even she could not fully understand what it meant to carry this burden, to know that fate could be glimpsed but never truly controlled or defeated outright. One evening, while walking alone through town under a pale moonlight glow, I paused near Elm Street again, gazing silently toward where ruins once stood, now replaced by new construction efforts, promising hope amidst tragedy, reminders still etched upon hearts everywhere nearby forevermore. For now, all I could do was hope and keep watching for signs.